what's up? Hello, everybody. It's Katie, and we got Kevin back with random faces. Random avatars, I should say. Welcome. Welcome back to the Justified Fan channel. And it's normal stream times on weekends. Yay! Next weekend, Friday will be normal. Saturday will be normal, and that should end 7 p.m. Sunday, 4 p.m. Unless I have Friday scheduled for 1 p.m. next Friday. But anyway, tonight and this weekend, rest of this weekend, we are finishing up a certain K2's past. Kevin can guess who it is. Go on, Kevin. Spoil it. Oh, I ding dong Brandon. Hey, Kevin's fifth LC. He's the same class as the certain King too. Well, Kevin guesses. I'm going to put on something that I like a lot.
You can't get any coffee, huh?
No. I mean, I'm eating a right Twix instead of a left Twix, but come on.
Let's see what the problem is. I should do it.
Clyde was slowly getting used to his new shape and was greatly enjoying his life again now that the fear of being discovered by British Rail had somewhat subsided. True, he still had to get used to the ins and outs of being in a significantly different body, but overall he was much happier now. Though he knew that Zeke would have ideally wished for him to have remained in a heavy goods engine guise, the design that he had eventually chosen had its merits too. Being the 460, Clyde had integrated himself into the duty roster alongside Dave, Hannah, and Della Tripp, despite his misgivings with the latter. This meant that he could take up diagrams meant for those engines if they required any maintenance, and vice versa, when he needed time off, the others could take on his job. His smaller driving wheels and large cylinders meant that he had the power and grip necessary to climb the railway banks with relative ease, which, coupled with his status of being essentially fresh out of the box, made him popular with passengers and crew, especially considering his smart Caledonian Railway blue livery. This, inevitably, caused some irritation to flare up between himself and Della Tripp, with the latter often struggling to climb the railway's hills with heavier trains due to his larger diameter wheels and significant mechanical wear. Clyde very much enjoyed reminding him of this whenever they crossed paths in the shed, as happened one cold night at Mirku.
Busy evening.
Yes, Clyde. Busy evening. No banker to help tonight.
You shouldn't even need a banker. You only have what, 5 coaches, 6 tops? Is that really all you can handle?
I'm not so young as you, and I'm having trouble steaming, as you very well know.
Oh, I know, all right. You don't have to tell me twice. 20-minute delay last week just because you ran out of steam at Upway. Again, tell me, Trip, what useful purpose do you actually serve around here? All you ever seem to do is plod along like an old tram and break down. Ever thought about perhaps not being a useless excuse for an engine?
Delatrip didn't respond.
Well, perhaps you should be retired in a museum then. Let us young, strong engines take on the work. God knows, we're better at it than you are. Passengers don't even seem so keen on you nowadays. The trains always seem to be empty. It makes you wonder why you struggle so often.
Again, Trip remained silent, determined not to be goaded into an argument once again. Clyde smugly pressed on.
I, on the other hand, am always getting compliments about my performance. The crews love it. They know they are getting a quality, reliable, and powerful steam engine when they take me out. Perhaps Theo1 Auto should rebuild their Gonfine and use it on you. Make you a better engine then.
Give it a rest, Clyde. I'm really not in the mood for your rubbish this evening.
Well, I'm not really in the mood for unreliability, but here we are. I simply cannot believe how many complaints I hear about you, from the crews and the other engines alike. Absolutely astounding. I have literally no idea why Zeke keeps you around, you know. And one driver's even told me that he never, ever wants to take you out on the turn again. He hated everything about you, you know. Now, I'm only being honest and giving you a fair warning, but I reckon... Hey, where do you think you're going?
Away from you.
Well, that's one way to get the sheds to myself for a bet.
Clyde felt quite content knowing that he had successfully driven Trip away for the evening, and eagerly awaited the arrival of the other engines, the ones that he actually got along with, so that he could enjoy his evening. The next morning, Clyde awoke bright and early, having had an excellent night's sleep and an evening full of banter with his friends. His fire had already been lit, and he revelled in the warmth that began to spread through him as his boiler pressure slowly rose. Oftentimes, he would find great enjoyment speaking to passengers at the platforms about his history, often making up elaborate and untrue stories about his exploits as a prototype Caledonian Railway engine. This morning, however, as he had waited for departure at Mirkin, he had found himself speaking to a smartly dressed man who had taken a passing interest at Clyde's paintwork. After telling him a story of his previous fictional paint schemes, the man smiled back at Clyde.
Well, that was a fascinating story. Sorry, what is your name?
Clyde, sir.
Clyde, thank you. But I'm afraid I must dash. I'm on an interesting assignment right now, looking for a diesel locomotive.
Clyde's interest peaked. Perhaps this man was looking for Raymond for some reason.
Aye, is it a brush type phone you're looking for? His name's Raymond, but don't say anything in front of him. I find that he likes to kick off at his friends for no reason whatsoever.
The man looked slightly taken aback at this.
Oh my game you're dry.
No, it isn't. I'm actually here on behalf of British Rail. We're searching for a missing English Electric Type
Chandra.
3, actually.
Ooh.
Clyde gulped quite audibly, then coughed as he sucked a pocket of air into his smoke box.
Oh, are you okay?
All right.
Aye, sorry, going down the wrong pipe. So, a type 3, you say?
Aha, there you are.
Yes, number 37101. You haven't seen an engine of that number around here, have you?
Clyde looked incredibly jitterish at these words and began speaking slightly incoherently.
Well, you see, when I first arrived here, I think I saw it, but, oh, hold on. Was he even here when I first got here? Anyway, no, I can't say I have, swear.
Trying to put some domes.
Oh, that's a real shame, actually.
Clyde looked curiously at the man.
Oh, what is that? Were you planning on scrapping it, or?
Oh, heavens, no. The thing is, when my employers authorized the closure of the branch line between Colhapper and Horton, we had a report that a Type 3 diesel had been present on the railway line here. and we wanted to account for it. In fact, if and when we find it, we're planning on selling it to one of the many prospective heritage railways popping up around the country. Similar to this one, actually. If it had been here, I'm positive that we could have presented it to this railway. The manager seems to take good care of his operations here, so where better to dispose of a young diesel with plenty of potential life left in it. Certainly better than scrapping such a versatile machine. It's a shame, really, because my boss spoke highly of 37101 and thought it was quite strange that the higher-ups didn't want to keep it on. Anyway, if you say that it isn't here, we'll have to search elsewhere for it. Thank you for your time, though, Clyde.
And with that, the man strolled away towards the train, leaving Clyde feeling very uncomfortable indeed. He thought about what he had heard as he left the station and wondered if British Rail hadn't intended to scrap him and had indeed planned on selling him on, then had it been worth going through this drastic transformation? True, he did enjoy being a steam engine now, but after all the problems his shape-shifting had caused, was he truly happy with his decision? What if he had decided to remain in his original shape and not pressured the twins into helping him? Would their cannon have remained operational and have been an asset to assisting Zeke with the railway's grand plans? Would he have been any help at all in rescuing Dave from his demons? And more personally, he wondered whether his outlook on life would have been different if he had remained in diesel form. Or would he have been paranoid for the rest of his life about being found out and scrapped? All of this thinking gave him a tremendous ache in his smoke box as he rolled along the line on autopilot, thinking about his decisions and consequences of those. Clyde was still feeling conflicted later that evening when he rolled into Cohan's shed, hoping for some time alone so that he could wrap up his thoughts and try to make sense of things. Unfortunately, the relative
Where did my kid go?
remained for long. Half an hour went past.
Good morning.
The sound of approaching steam engines
Good-
brought Clyde out of his day.
Good morning. It's good evening, you monkey head.
So here I am.
You got explaining to do with your certain video.
Which one? Are you talking about the Cheetor review?
No. And then this past, you do realize you were built and put into service at the time Siemens was being scrapped?
Well, yes. This is just like an alternate, like this is a missing detail in my backstory. That I worked at a scrapyard in the other railway with around hostile diesels until I escaped.
You are one strange monkey. Canadian monkey.
I don't understand, like.
Oh no, my big boy's broken.
What broke?
My big boy's broken! Oh no! Oh wait, never mind. It's not broken. I'm like, what the heck? Was I doing this wrong? I should know how to play this game by now. And I just fell. Yay! All right, let's see. Roaster, did you win? So go. Yes, I know you're a go. Hi, Rod Charlie. Let's see.
We must understand that the Fat Controller made it very clear in the special that, you know, he was.
I'm gonna close that. Oh.
The Fat Controller made it clear that like it makes it makes sense that.
Stop speaking crazy.
What do you mean? Look, it makes sense for Thomas and Murdoch to be captured by diesels, and then me
beat a magical engine, turning from D2 to a 9F, saves both Thomas and Murdoch. It was it was so ironic. And then having Coco arrive, and it was actually one of the quicker specials I've done. It was like, oh yeah, the next one though is going to be very enjoyable. It'll be a special treat for all.
I know Kevin is finding Transformer memes.
Oh wait a minute. Oh no! Don't tell me another live stream you're doing.
Duh! But at least you have a shirt on.
Well, yeah, but anyway, work was something. The paperwork was immense. Simba was encouraging me to finish to the
Now
very
let's
end.
see how our baseball teams are doing.
Well, I believe they're tied atop.
And it's nothing Yankees. Da-da-da-da-da.
So nothing between the Yankees and the Yankees.
Did you know the Cleveland Indians are changing their name to the Guardians?
I like that actually.
Who's looking at my bottle?
I like that name, the Cleveland Guardians.
Like I said, nothing.
Yes, nothing in the third period.
It's the top of the first. The game just started, dude.
Oh, the first period. Okay, so the
And it's
first
about
period
the
just-
first for Toronto. And there's
Okay, I
nothing there.
Yes.
Well, what does
The
that
first-
tell you?
The first periods of those games just started, I realize. Now, what else there?
And by the way, look what they did to James.
What do you mean? Look, they did to James. What do you mean?
Kevin, Brandon, look at Twitter. Look what they did to poor James. Mattel. What do you expect?
Oh, son of a...
Wouldn't really wiki Actually, would it just be easier if I just send it to you?
If you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kevin, Brandon, hold on. I'll send it to you.
I will go at the telephone and...
I'm sending it to you guys by Twitter DMs. 1 second.
Okay, I'm now on the telephone.
No, you're not. I took your cell phone.
Hello, Simba. How are you doing? Great. Oh, you want me to come in this evening? What time? Oh, at 3? Okay, I'll see you at 3 a.m. All right. Have a wonderful night, Simba. Oh yeah, Ricardo's doing a live stream.
Yeah, and I have my finger covered. I told you. It's something off of my finger. Oh, wait. No, my screen. That's... Oops.
yeah,
That's not my camera. That is not my camera.
Oh yes, a friendly
I hit
reminder.
the button in other stories.
A friendly reminder that famous celebrity came.
I
to
am not
Formula
giving you the
One.
finger. I'm just showing you I got a band-aid on.
Oh, okay. Oh man, babe, you look beautiful in that top.
No, I picked something off my finger. That's why I'm keeping it covered to prevent an infection.
Yeah, I'm just talking about your top, babe.
Yes, that's aloha.
Yes, but anyways, I was going to say, famous celebrity Kane Fansona 1 did yet again another live stream. It was such an emotional stream where he finally was caught in the act.
The only thing I'm getting from that's new will be to look Kenji. Because it's finally getting released outside Japan.
Yes.
Big boy, come on.
Yes, big
This
boy,
big one
come
needs a
on.
name.
Big boy, come on.
Oh my god! Kevin, I crashed Big Boy! Big Boy, come through! Now they disappeared. Okay, Scott and Ross.
Yes.
I backed him too far into his coaches?
And the freight cars became nothing.
Hey!
What? What
You want to see my crash then? Okay. Get away from the cell phone. They'll burn you. Like
I'm not
hot
on the
lava.
cell phone.
Now look at my screen.
I don't even have a cell phone credits are talking to the fat controller.
Look! Big Boy crashed! I crashed Big Boy, look!
Wait, you crushed big girl?
Big Boy! Look at the cab!
Oh, big girl. Okay.
Yeah,
See, where is big?
this is a roll scale game on Roblox. Totally, Kevin is being transformed by a transformer. I fixed it! Yay! Let's go! Come on, Kevin! I got Big Boy ready now! It's gonna put on all your PJs. It's gonna get on all your... We're gonna hop, hop, hop out of the wall there. I shouldn't have hopped out of the wall.
Up the wall.
Run up the wall! Bee. Okay, Big Boy, where are you? I'm ready. Come to Mama. Big Boy, where art thou?
It was the fat controller in Sir Topham Hatt morning. On
Stop
the
it!
island of Sin. What is the problem? I don't understand.
Pick up the passengers, take them to... No, wait, no, let's not take them to hell. I gotta fix all the points. Get on your PJs. You gotta get on all your... Do, you gotta get at do. You are number one. Let's go, go on the crazy Big Boy adventure.
And soon it was time for the fat controller to speak to the thin controller, who spoke to the Arnold Schwarzenegger controller, and also spoke to
Okay,
the
that goes.
controller.
Wee! I'm going this way.
And then, all of a sudden, without
All of a sudden, the fat controller ate the fat controller. What? That sounded wrong.
It's all right.
Stop. Big Boy, stop. Let's
Yeah.
go! This way. Run! Run, especially again. The monkey man is here.
Ninja's Past was a great and emotional special, full of
Oh, dear.
great storytelling and plot convenience. It was just an emotional story.
Do you realize I'm fixing points? I gotta run into the coal pile? Okay. Run into the
Yeah.
coal pile, run into the coal pile, run into the coal pile. Don't
My
fall,
two
don't
coaches-
fall, don't fall.
My
Do,
two
do,
coaches,
do,
Angela and
do,
Marcus,
do,
are
do,
just
do,
great,
do,
amazing
do.
companions. They did so much over the years. It's just so wonderful.
Points, points! I gotta fix the points.
Yes, I know. You got to get the points going. I understand.
Yeah, because I'm about to go underwater with Big Boy. So I gotta make
In
sure all the
Lego
points.
City.
Ow. Okay, close the set. I'm going this way. Run! Don't fall, don't fall. She's falling in the water. Not. I gotta check all the points. We gotta check all the points all night. What the heck? Check all the points. Check all the points. Check all the points. Don't hit the camera. Ow. Okay. Okay, Kevin, I'm ready whenever you come back into the game. Brandon disconnected. Brandon disconnected. Maybe his Wi-Fi ate him. Oh no, the Wi-Fi is a banana. Na 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 na. You are now.
The 5-7 squadron, both of them looking quite menacing as they glided towards him. Still feeling slightly absent-minded, Clyde wondered what was up with them and called out as they approached.
All right, lads. What's up?
257 grimaced at him, making him recoil slightly. You just can't help yourself, can you, Clyde? After what we told you earlier this year, you still can't drop it and leave him alone, can you?
Leave who alone?
He was still a little bit dopey, but suddenly the penny dropped
Alright.
as his mind caught up to the situation.
I gotta run,
Oh,
back,
you're
back,
on a bit
back.
of a trip, aren't you?
I told you to back off. I told you to leave him alone. And now I hear that you're still
Gotta run to my big boy.
What's this? Just because you've been gifted with a young, powerful, and efficient body, it doesn't give you the right to abuse other engines.
Big boy, where art thou, big
Clyde,
boy?
who was really not in the mood for this, flared up.
How can you talk?
Big boy.
You're much stronger than me. Yeah, here you are.
Did you run away from
When
Mama?
I got nowhere to go.
He eyed Eustace, who looked uncomfortable, but just as cross as his brother.
And you, Eustace, of all engines,
Okay,
really?
where are
I
you?
expected better from you.
I would have expected better from you also, Clyde. After all, we did ask
Run
you
up
to leave
here.
the trip alone, and yet you have not. Do you really just expect us to leave you to it and not confront you about your behaviour?
My behaviour? He's no better. He was completely out of order when he first arrived here. Treating everybody like scum just because they weren't southern. And even then, he turned out to be a massive hypocrite. Seriously, the way he's been to both of you, both in the past and more recently, what possessed you to even forgive him?
He changed, Clyde. It's as simple as that. He made an honest attempt to make up for his past actions now that he has realised how much he has upset everybody. And I, for one, believe that he is completely genuine in his attempts to redeem himself. Therefore, I have accepted his apology. And he's been my friend for a very long time. Sure, we've had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, he's seen the error of his ways and has apologised for it. If that's good enough for everybody else, then it should be good enough for you.
Well, that's all good and well, but
There are no buts, Clyde. This is your last warning. You leave him alone and stop making snide remarks about him, or I swear I'll make sure that you regret it.
is that? Are you threatening me?
Absolutely I am. Calm down, 257. I told you to keep it civil. Why should I keep it civil, Eustace? Trip doesn't need to keep being reminded that he struggles to climb hills and hauls the heavier trains. But this bastard's all right to just keep shitting on him without consequence. I don't think so somehow.
Is that a challenge, Parley?
It fucking well is, mate. I'll take you on, one-on-one. Come on, I'll spark you out, you absolute grade A ocean-going cunt. Oi, Eustace, get off me. I can take on this little Scottish prick, no problem. Get off me, bro. He gets the message, 257. He's not worth it. Come on now, you're causing a scene. You leave Delatrip alone, you hear me? You upset him again, and you see what happens, mate. Just you wait. Despite believing that he was quite tough, Clyde began shaking as he watched the two engines disappear from sight. He knew that this time he had gone too far with his harassment of Delatrip. He had now lost his good relationship with both 257 and Eustace, and along with everything else that had been weighing on his mind that day, felt even worse for it. Zeke had been largely oblivious to all of these goings on among the engines. He had been busy tending to other things around the railway, such as planning the extension beyond Colhapper, and more importantly, looking into the motive power requirements of the line going forward into the next year. This brought him down to the museum a few days after 257 and Eustace's confrontation with Clyde, intending to speak with some of the engines inside regarding his ambitious plans. The first engine he approached was Colossus, who had been slumbering quietly with a soft snore. Colossus? Colossus awoke with a small start. Sorry, Colossus. Oh, good morning, Zeke. How can I help you? I haven't seen you for a while. Sorry about that. We've been incredibly busy trying to arrange an investigation of Colhapper Tunnel. We can't do any work to it until a proper inspection by a civil engineer has been completed. I assume it's proving difficult to arrange then. Well, yeah. The amount of hoops that I'm expected to jump through now is horrendous. It's health and safety gone mad. But anyway, Colossus, I'm here to give you and the others a bit of news. At this point, Eddie and Turbo both stirred, having heard Zeke's voice carrying. Did you say you have some news for us, sir? News? I hope it's good news. It is indeed good news. Good news, eh? I like the sound of this. I assume, from your optimistic state, that you have plans for us. I certainly do. Now, it's all very well and good having you guys in this museum for visitors to see, but I think you've all been static in here for long enough now. How would you three feel if I brought you out of the museum and into Caracas Smash Limited, so that we can restore you all to operational condition? The three engines had different reactions to this. Eddie looked incredibly enthusiastic. You mean I can finally come out of the godforsaken museum and work again? See everyone? Interact with the outside world? Yes, indeed, Eddie. In fact, I could really use an engine of your size now that Ed and Sid are out on their holidays to other heritage railways. Absolutely fantastic! Thank you, sir. I can't wait. You won't regret it. I doubt that I would. You're still in rather good mechanical condition, Eddie, so I've been told, so your restoration shouldn't take too long at all. Eddie beamed and Turbo spoke up. It'll be nice to finally come out of the museum and help everyone again. I've missed everyone very much, and they've missed you too. Raymond the Warrior will be happy to see you back in service, since Clyde is no longer a diesel engine, of course. The three engines looked rather curious at this. Zeke quickly explained. So there you have it. Clyde is now a Caledonian steam engine, so you will be instrumental in helping to pick up the diesel diagram, Turbo, if that's all right with you. Absolutely, sir. Colossus looked down at his owner, frowning. Problem, Colossus? Why do you want to restore an old puffer like me? I'm quite outdated and nowhere near as good to be considered for operations. Don't be so hard on yourself, Colossus. My intention was to always restore you to working order. And with Barry absent from proceedings, I could use another heavy freight engine on the line, especially in time for the heavy summer traffic. Eustace and 257 can cope, But it would be nice if there was another high-powered engine around to help them out, especially as... well,
Where are
as
you?
what? Oh, never mind. Anyway, I hope this is all right with you three. I'd really appreciate it, as I need all the help
Oh,
I can get
big
right now.
boy.
I've still got to speak to a couple of the other engines in here, as they're to be restored as well in accordance
Where
with
are
their
you?
wishes. Zeke looked past his engine towards the back of the museum, where a few other privately owned engines stood, snoozing. Eddie brought him back.
I gotta go search for Big Boy.
Sir, I do have one question. Yes? Well, if
Where did
we're
Big
all
Boy
coming
go?
out, and some of those other engines are coming out, who's coming into the museum
Oh,
to
here?
assist us? I am not in a bad mood, you ungrateful bastard! Fuck off! Bad time.
Big Boy.
Sorry, Zeke. It's...
Where are you?
You mean... Yeah, her ash pan needs cleaning. I understand. I'll pop back later. So, Hannah, I've come here today to speak to you about something important. And you too, Brian. Yeah? What's up, sir? Well, I've been going through some
Turn into a
paperwork
house.
and have been closely liaising with Mr. Smash regarding maintenance records. And it's been found that both of you are drawing very close to the expiration of your current boiler certificates, which means withdrawal. Oh no, sir! I've only just had boiler work done, and I still feel fine, sir.
Big
Honestly,
boy.
there's no need to withdraw me just yet. I appreciate that you both don't want to be withdrawn,
You over here?
but please hear me out. I've got several engines from the museum going into Calica Smash Limited for overhaul, including poor old Eddie. He's been stuck in that museum for a very long time. Now, in order for them to come out and to avoid overcrowding it in the works, I'd like to place both of you in the museum for a while. That way, you won't be shut up in the works for ages, possibly in pieces, and you'll still be able to interact with the other engines and general public. Is that okay with you? Both engines looked quite stubborn, but Brian broke the awkward silence. Well, I guess it's only fair that we should go on display. And to be fair, it would be better than, as you say, being in pieces on the workshop floor whilst everyone else gets repairs. Anna? Well, all right then. But can Dave come?
Oh.
No, I need to go down to the at the moment. Besides,
There it is.
I think he's had his fair share of staff
Come on.
display over the years.
Oh.
He seems
All right,
to spend most of his time staff anyway. Ha!
Bugger.
Very amusing, Zeke, but the joke's on you. I went out and did some work yesterday. You mean when you took one service to Kohlhapper and came back here light engine? So, I still did something right. Hannah interjected. Then why not put Trip into the museum instead? He's been struggling recently. In time.
So can we delete the train?
But his certificate doesn't expire for a good long while yet. So what would be the point of having a perfectly serviceable engine cooped up in the museum? Besides, I know that he's been performing poorly recently, but he's still a good engine, and I value his hard work regardless. Hannah sighed. Okay, sir. I guess I don't have much of a choice. Sorry about that, but I've got to do what's right for the railway. It won't be until the new year, though, so you will all still be busy with the festive period, of course. The three engines groaned as Zeke walked away. As Hannah and Brian started violently cursing about being withdrawn the following year, Dave remained silent, thinking. He was about to lose one of his oldest friends and his girlfriend to the eerie bowels of the museum, for who knew how long. And on top of that, they would need a lengthy restoration before they could come out and work again. And by that point, would he then need an overhaul? Meaning he wouldn't see them again for a very long time? True, he still had Raymond and Eustace.
Okay,
and
can we
Brian,
delete the
and all of
train?
others. But in his mind, it just wouldn't feel the same. Feeling saddened by this, he remained rather quiet whilst his partner and best mate continued to call Zeke all the names under the sun.
explains why he didn't go anywhere.
Whilst the engines had been busy hauling trains and entertaining the visitors during the holiday season, the staff and volunteers had been occupied with other concerns around the line. For instance, Mr. Smash had replaced most of his sprawling yard complex of his works with a space-saving traverser, allowing for easier access to the building for engines. Unfortunately, he had then completely negated the positive effects of this by dumping rubbish and junk on the recently vacated land. The engine didn't appreciate this, or the joke sign that Mr. Smash had erected at the entrance to the works. Several stations and yards had also undergone some changes. For instance, Kohaku itself now had a third platform installed in readiness for the proposed operations of the line beyond. The fourth platform at Gallant Junction, which was once part of the main line north to Market Labourer, had now been linked up properly to the running line at both ends, allowing trains to overtake each other in both directions now. One of the more important changes had taken place around the centre of the line, where Walls Church had gained a new bay platform. Goose happily boasted about this in the shed one evening, having been
Slowly
instrumentally
go.
helping the RPF to build it.
I can't believe they've built an entire platform just for me at Walls Church.
Explain to me again, why exactly have they done so?
Well, apparently, once that mining museum at Soma has been opened, Mr. Chairman wants me to run special shuttle trains on that section of the line. And, to avoid holding up you lot, they've built that special platform just for little old me. There's already a bay at Axley for me to use, so that means I'm special.
Special is indeed the word.
Fuck off, fun.
But why are you so happy about this? Wasn't running simple auto trains one of your main concerns when you first arrived here?
Well, back then I didn't have any special platforms especially for me to use, did I?
Hannah rolled her eyes. And did I see correctly?
Guess
Other
what you
RPF
just
be
say to
building Lake
that is-
Station?
You mean near the viaduct? Yeah, they're building a new station there. Was there one there before then?
Years ago, before the line was doubled, there used to be a little halt there for the hamlet of Lake. Not sure what possessed them to rebuild it, though. It'll probably be for the heritage appeal, I'd imagine. Besides, I heard that it's because of one of the society members lived there and didn't like having to walk all the way to Woolchurch every day to get to work. Lazy sod.
Oh well, I'm not complaining. Chairman reckons there's more stuff for me to do now, what with the new extension work too. Rumour has it that I'll be operating that new section of Line 2 at first. Gonna have plenty to do.
How are you supposed to work two separate services at the same time?
Search me. But I'll do it. Unlike you, I enjoy working.
I enjoy working too, when you feel like it. Hang on a minute. You're supposed to be on my side. Well, you are a bit lazy. Is that how everyone sees me? Lazy? Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, I'll show you. I'll do all you guys' work tomorrow. But, my love, is your day off tomorrow?
Stay there.
Oh, yeah, it is. I guess I'll have to do it the day after that then. Or the day after that. Or the day after that. Hannah sighed to herself as she drifted off to sleep. Early the next morning, Goose was awoken with a start by the sound of a familiar voice.
Wakey, wakey, hands off Snakey. Come on, Goose. I've got a special for you this morning.
Oh, a special job? What be the haps then?
You will find out in a while. Meet me at the station with your auto coach when you're up to pressure, please.
Mr. Chairman wandered away as Goose wondered what his special job would be. Would he be deputising an excursion? Would he perhaps be working at the quarry with the twins today? Thoughts bubbled around his smoke box as steam slowly generated within him.
Oopsie.
An hour later, Goose was ready, and after collecting one of his auto coaches, he made his way into the station, stopping in the main platform where he saw Mr. Chairman waiting. But he wasn't alone. With him stood a group of people, including, among others, Mr. Smash, Zeke Dark, and Mr. Dark himself. He recognized some of the other people as Dark Railway Preservation Society members, but one man stood out. He had never seen him before. Before he could start interrogating them, however, the group made their way into Goose's coach. Mr. Chairman came up to him.
Right, Goose. This is a very important job for you, and I hope you will appreciate just how important it is.
Oh, yes, sir. Where are we going? What are we doing?
We are going to the tunnel.
Goose didn't immediately understand. Then he realized.
Hang on. We're going to the tunnel just up the line.
Yes, indeed. Today we're going to be inspecting the tunnel to make sure it is safe to relay the track in our bid to extend to Belgrave Station just beyond it. I thought you'd quite like this task, as it's especially suited for you.
But, oh, not again, sir. It's such a short distance. Why couldn't you guys have walked? Or got a bus? Or driven?
Why would we do that when we can write off the expenses by using our own railway line?
So, you got me up early and bulled me up to something amazing, only to be your free taxi driver for the morning.
Well, when you put it like that, pretty much, yeah. Besides, by doing this for us, you'll be the first engine to know how feasible this first hurdle of our extension will be.
Great.
Come now, Goose, don't be so ungrateful.
I'm not ungrateful. It's just, thought it'd be more important and...
He trailed off as Mr. Chairman looked at his watch.
Well, looks like we are ready. So whenever you are ready, can you take us up to the tunnel entrance, please?
Yeah, sure thing.
The journey to Colhapper Tunnel didn't take long. Goose sighed to himself as he passed through Colhapper West Holt and over a level crossing before arriving in the cutting just before the tunnel entrance. The men all got out and headed over to the portal as Goose called out.
So, can I go and do some other work now, like?
No, Goose. You have been authorized to stay here until we are done.
Under 611 said.
Well, it depends on what we find.
Okay,
really.
Catherine.
Could be an hour, could be a couple.
But
the men had walked out of earshot before Goose could continue. He stood where he was and began complaining loudly to his driver and fireman, who were just as exasperated as he was about this tedious task. Zeke soon introduced his colleagues and the society members to the mystery man who had been travelling with them. Gentlemen, this is Mr. Richardson. He is a qualified structural engineer who is here with us today to help identify any issues we may have with Colhapper Tunnel. I understand that you have already had some information for us, Mr. Richardson.
Yes, I do. Now, I have been liaising with British Rail on the Dark Railway's behalf, and I have unearthed some information which is of significant importance. Firstly, we can forget about using the down portal of the tunnel, not only because British Rail have not signed that particular tunnel over to the company, but because there is major structural damage inside. Part of the tunnel has previously collapsed, and there is significant water damage on the tunnel flow within the portal. Hence why British Rail bricked it up in the first place.
The group sighed. Some of them have been prepared for this.
However, the former up portal is, so I'm told, still in relatively good condition, and I have been assured that it should still be safe to use. However, we do need to have a visual inspection of the entire tunnel, seeing as it has been out of use for several years now. I would like to ask all of you to please accompany me through the tunnel to help look for specific areas, such as the condition of the tunnel floor, look for any water or ground damage, analyze the structural integrity of the tunnel walls, and so on and so forth.
But is it safe for us to do so? It's not going to collapse on us, is it? Mr. Dark had thought back to when Gasworks Tunnel had collapsed all those years ago and was, understandably, slightly nervous.
Incredibly unlikely. My colleagues informed me that the tunnel was in a good state of repair before the railway line through it closed. This is more of a cursory look to identify if there has been any decay in this since it was last inspected. Do not worry, Nathaniel. I assure you we will be safe in there.
With that, the group cautiously made their way into the dark depths of the tunnel, some being apprehensive, some being optimistic, and others simply being prepared to do some good on that cold day. Goose had been sat stationary and bored for almost 2 hours before he heard the sounds of the men returning to the vicinity. He overheard some of them talking as they approached. Should be good to go then.
Yes!
A few concerns?
Finally.
Oh, I would say so, yes. We cannot be certain about the ventilation shafts until we can get a tunnel inspection vehicle through. But apart from the drainage issues and some work needing to be done to the tunnel portal stonework, you should be fine to begin relaying the track through the tunnel itself. I'll submit my full report later this week to you, Zeke.
Oh yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Well, gentlemen, I must thank you for your assistance on this matter. Usually I am unwilling to allow untrained volunteers to accompany me on these inspections, but you have all shown yourselves to be highly competent and a credit to your railway's operations.
The society members all beamed as they began boarding back onto Goose's auto coach. Mr. Chairman gave the signal for them to depart, and Goose grumpily made his way back to Colhacker Station. On their arrival back at the station, the men began to disperse, with Hannah already waiting in the other platform, ready to haul the next train up the line to Mirku. Mr. Chairman strode up to Goose, who still looked a bit cross.
Well, Goose, it would appear that we are going to get the go-ahead to relay the track through the tunnel. It will take some time, but if the Society continue their excellent work, we should be out at the other end of the tunnel by mid-February.
Hannah, who had been eavesdropping, smiled. That's amazing news, Mr. Chairman. I'll go and let everyone else know all about it. They will be happy to know that the extension has been given the full go-ahead.
Wait, hang on a minute.
But before Goose could complain any further, Hannah steamed away. Goose groaned.
I was supposed to be the one who told everyone about the results of the inspection, sir, and now she's going to go blab to everyone before I can? What's the dealio?
Sorry, Goose. I didn't realize it meant that much to you.
I was supposed to be the first engine to know.
Well, I can't help who's eavesdropping at stations.
We could have waited until she had left and we were alone.
Again, I apologize. On the plus side, you can go and tell Dave all about it, right? You'll be the first to let him know and cheer him up a bit. You need water anyway, I'd imagine.
It's not the same, though. I wanted to be first.
He sulkily reversed out of the platform and back into the sheds. Upset, they would not be the one to tell all of the others about the important tunnel inspection. Goose felt a little better once he had filled up with water and spoken to Dave, who seemed to be in two minds about the tunnel. It's nice to know that we've gotten the go-ahead for the work to begin, but I don't like tunnels.
Why not?
Well, for one thing, I had a bad blowback in the old tunnel at Mirkin once, when my fireman at the time was stung by a bee and foolishly decided to have an allergic reaction to it. And in that same tunnel. I watched my psychotic ex-girlfriend die right in front of me.
Oh, wow. Sucks to suck, I guess, man. But hey, those blokes all walk through that tunnel no problem. They reckon it's going to be safe for us lot to run through. So no need to be worried about it falling on you, eh?
Well, I suppose not.
Never mind, though. It's going to be a while before that section is open. Besides, from what I've been reliably told, that entire section is going to be single track with passing loops anyway. The second portal of the tunnel is usable, see? Anyway, I've got a dash. I've been sat around far too long today. I can't stand not working. Don't know how you can do it, really.
Goose trundled away, leaving Dave feeling slightly bemused. He thought to himself that perhaps he should really make more of a conscious effort to not be so lazy and to help his friends out a little more often. But more so, hoping it would have little to do with running services on the extension of the line. But with these thoughts, he had closed his eyes, and without realizing it, he had dozed off to sleep again, really living up to his lazy nature. Mr. Smash had prepared his works ready to accept the museum engines for overhaul, and had tasked Buzz and Mr. B to bring them over, which was more difficult than expected.
He's so heavy.
There we go.
Oh God, Colossus, what have you been eating?
Give it some welly, boys. Just be careful of my wheels. They've locked up with all this rust. Soon, though, Colossus, Eddie, Turbo, and 2 other engines from the back of the museum had been moved over and into the works. The Dark Railway engines hadn't had much to do with the other 2, and so Colossus, being polite, asked them about themselves, starting with the mixed traffic Great Western machine.
Well, I'm Buckleberry Grange. I mean, my nameplate says so.
Uh-huh. And where have you come from then?
Redwick and Chiltern Hills lines, over on the Oxfordshire and Berkshire border.
Oh, I know the place. Doesn't some demented guy run the joint?
Mr. Stard, he's not as mental as your controller. My owner told me all about him. Proper nutcase.
His son owns the line now, Zeke. You've probably seen him a few times in the museum.
Oh yeah, tall kid, black hair. Yeah, he seems to have his head screwed on.
Turbo's attention had been directed to the small blue tank engine stood next to him. And what about you? Where have you come from? The little old tank engine smiled.
Well, my name is Hammond. I come from the Dexby Railway, just over the ways.
Dexby? I've heard the other engine talk about the place. Apparently, our 2 railways are, or were, rivals.
Long ago they were, but since the preservation era has been a thing, there's been
Oh, wait, never mind, winning.
communication and cooperation between the 2 lines.
Oopsie.
I'm glad that
Okay,
I
score
never
wrong.
understood any of the fuss about it.
When you say over the ways, is your railway close by then? I've never heard of it.
Oh yes, the 2 railways railways once upon a time were connected via Horton Station on the mainland, but as you know, the connection has been lost.
So, I assume that you two are being restored so that you can both go home, correct?
That's what I've been led to believe.
My owner says that we're going to have some running in here first to help you guys out.
Any help is good help.
Oh, for sure. I am looking forward to working again. To be fair, the only thing that your engineer chap has to fix is my springs on the Probe Bogey, and I should be good to go.
I just need work done on my tubes and cranks, I think.
Well, it's nice to have finally gotten to speak to you two. We haven't really had the opportunity to do so before.
Well, the layout of the museum is weird. Putting your resident engines up front and leaving us visitors in the rear, as an afterthought, would have been nice to have mixed things up, no?
I'm in two minds about it. I assumed that once you found out where I was from, that there would be some sort of animosity.
Not from us. I mean, perhaps from some of the longer-serving residents of the line, like Theo and Otto, but we're what you would call recent additions. But you've been here since 1962, Eddie.
That does count when you're as old as I.
The group chuckled as Mr. B and Buzz came in.
So then, you lot having fun in here? Gangbang firm? Shut up, you. Wait a minute. You look familiar. Do I? Yeah. We have a diesel like you over on my railway. Not the aggressive prick. Oh, just like Alan here then. You sound familiar too. But I can't quite put my buffer on why.
There was an awkward silence for a moment before Buzz spoke.
Well, never mind that. We just came in to make sure you lots are okay. And to make sure...
Make sure what?
Don't worry about it. Well, now that we know that you lot are safe and sound, me and Buzz are gonna go have some alone time. If you know what I mean.
Cheeky.
Shut up, Mr. B. You give everyone the wrong impression.
That's the point. Anyways, see you all later. Foot bomb my head with the steer off the pulse D. Well, that's good. I don't think they can see the secret project back there.
I hope Mr. Smash doesn't accidentally reveal what it is. They'll tell everyone about him.
Nah, he'll be fine. Now come on, let's go build some forts out of broken Mark I bodies.
Whilst work continues on the railway's main extension, two other major construction projects were beginning to wrap up too. Not only was Lake's brand new halt almost ready to open for public service, but so was Soma's mining museum. Goose, who had been overseeing construction at Lake, decided to check up on progress at Soma and sort out the twin tank engines one afternoon while bored.
So, how's the quarry looking, fellas?
I think we're almost ready for a soft reopening, you know. Zeke has been really helpful with allocating funds for the work to be done.
And, well, what work exactly had to be done? Couldn't you have just reopened the entire site as it was?
Not exactly. The main tour of the mining museum is that the general public will be able to visit the underground mine shafts. We have to be very careful that guests are going to be safe in those mines. So new walkways, lighting equipment, and ventilation procedures have had to be put in place to make it safe for them.
Man, that does sound interesting. If only we could go down into those mines.
I know, it sounds fascinating, doesn't it? But never mind, eh? We steam engines, anyway, wouldn't do so well in a mine shaft.
Oh yeah, all the smoke as well. Well, I'm happy to hear the quarry's nearly ready. Lake Station is due to reopen soon, and I reckon that with all the hard work I've been doing there, that I'll be running the inaugural reopening train.
Quite possible. I overheard Mr. Chairman say that you'll be perfect for the Y-shaped shuttles.
Y-shaped shuttles?
You'll be running an out-of-back service between Woolchurch and Soma via Axley, where you can change direction. Think of the service you're running as being in a Y shape, with Woolchurch and Soma being at the top of the Y and Axley being at the bottom of it.
I understand. Well, if that's the case, I guess they'll reopen the mining museum at the same time then. That'll be swell. It gives me a decent run rather than just up and down the Soma branch then.
Indeed it does. If only we could put passenger trains as often as you do. We're stuck shunting most of the time. We never get any limelight. Anyway, come on, Otto. We must get these trucks in order for Warrior. With that, the two tank engines slowly puffed away back up the hill. Goose watched them go, feeling slightly bad for them, not getting to pull passenger trains very often. But then, he had an idea, and went off to find the appropriate authority at once. As expected, the morning of the two big reopenings arrived. Theo and Otto, who had assumed they would simply be advising guests and completing demonstration tasks at Soma, were planning on having a sleep-in up at the quarry. Until they were interrupted by the arrival of Goose and Zeke. Good morning, sleepyhead. Oh, what time do you call this? Surely we don't have to get up yet. Oh, yes, you do. Why? We're only shunting and speaking to visitors today, aren't we? Not quite. Myself and the other managers have had a chat, and we all agree that you two should really be hauling the inaugural trains today. But how come? You two are the oldest residents of the line. You have lived here all your lives, and you've seen a lot of things change on the railway. Therefore, we thought it fitting that you two should get a chance to enter the limelight and haul the very first train
Alright,
for Lake's reopening ceremony.
let's just play
and the
Roblox
grand reopening of the mining museum up here.
10.
So get up, get ready, and enjoy your day. Goose has offered to do some demonstration shunting here for you, and he's already got you some coaches ready down at Axley. Wow, really? Thank you, Zeke. That's really nice of you to think of us. It's not a problem. I should have thought about it before, but Goose here made the suggestion, and it just made more sense. Anyway, I need to go and speak to the museum manager about how we're going to handle the special guests, so I'll be back shortly. Zeke wandered away as the twins beamed at Goose. Thank you, Goose. You didn't have to give up your place hauling the first train just for us.
I consider it like that, innit? But seriously, you two should have your chance to haul passenger trains again. This is quite an important one for you two, you know? The reopening of your quarry and an old hold that's been gone for so long. Like Zeke said, it just seems more fitting for you two to handle this important train on this special occasion.
Really, Goose? We appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, fellas. Enjoy your day.
And they did. Hauling a train of 3 elderly coaches and placed top and tail on the set, the two little tank engines spent much of the day shuttling back and forth between Woolchurch, Lake, Axley, and Soma, with a special stop at Lake's new station to officially reopen it, and the grand ceremony at Soma to officially open the museum. By the end of that day, the twins were exhausted, but satisfied and eternally grateful to Goose for arranging that day's events. Goose didn't mind one bit. He'd been given a break from shuttle trains and had given the old tank engines some joy on what was an important historic day for them, and that, in his eyes, made it all worthwhile. One lovely morning,
Oh, fucking hell.
Andy was having problems. His
My hydraulics are shot.
transmission was playing him up badly. Sorry to intrude, but are you all right there, Andy? You sound rough.
Not really, my dude. Ever since Clyde became a steam engine, somehow, I've been having to do his shitty jobs. Chairman reckons that once that English Electric Type 4 comes out of the works, I'll be relieved of Clyde's old jobs. But for now, it's giving me major exhaustion, man.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. I understand that they are diesel diagrams that you're doing, right?
Yeah, that's correct, man.
It's a shame. I'd try and help out if I could, but
Don't worry about it, Trip. I know you've been going through the wars recently, what with your own mechanical problems and the constant barrage of abuse you've been getting.
well, actually, that seems to have died down somewhat. The teasing, I mean.
Oh yeah, really?
I think 257 might have something to do with it, though. Clyde won't go anywhere near us, nor Eustace.
Perhaps they've told him to cut it out.
I know when I spoke to Clyde last, he seemed rather subdued and overworked. Just like all of us, really, I suppose.
Things certainly have stepped up recently. What with the track laying at the other end of the line, the diesel shunters have had a hard time of it too. If only there was a way we could all have a rest, you diesels included.
Oh well, I've got a few ideas. Maybe we should poison their water supply, or get someone to derail at one of the bridges and knock it down on the way over the edge, or brutally murder some coaches.
Delatrip looked quite shocked at these suggestions, but Andy just laughed.
I'm only joking, mate. Anyway, I don't suppose this train's going to pull itself.
Leave it to me.
But aren't you supposed to be having work done to your firebox later?
Yeah, but you look genuinely knackered, Andy. I know it's a diesel diagram, but I'll take it anyway. You get rested up. Andy looked quite surprised at this, and Delatrip slowly rolled away. He hadn't had much to do with him since he arrived, but he had certainly heard the rumours. But from his own interactions, Trip didn't seem like a bad guy at all. Offering to take his train whilst he was feeling unwell, and being genuine about it to boot, that was a kind thing to do. Perhaps Trip really had been bad.
It's gonna be watching Easy
his ways in the interim.
Part 44.
This made Andy question why Clyde, of all engines,
But
still had such a
46.
negative attitude towards Trip when, as far as he could tell, Clyde could be just as bad with his attitude sometimes. Andy thought more about this as his driver began to check him over to see what was wrong with him.
I'd like to taste the real Italian coffee, please. What is the real Italian coffee?
Espresso. Espresso or Americano?
You mean black coffee?
Yes, Lavazza. Discover the Italian coffee experience in all its forms. Lavazza, more than Italian.
After months of hard work by the Permanent Way Department, the track laying operation through Colhapper's disused tunnel was finally complete, and work had now begun on reaching the railway's first major extension goal, Belgrave Station. Though there was still a fair few outstanding jobs to complete before revenue-earning trains could begin running through it, the fact that the tunnel now had track again was a great relief to the engines and staff on the railway. Raymond, who had passed through Belgrave Station many times before when working the Red Herring fish train, was rather excited about the possibility of returning there in the near future. It's a really lovely little station, you know. The whole area that it sits in reminds me very much of the old Great Central Main Line around Loughborough. It's a shame I couldn't have seen Belgrave in its heyday. Passenger services have been withdrawn from there by the time I started working down to the docks on that line. I'm sure that the volunteers will do their utmost to restore it to its former glory, Raymond. From what I've heard, it's actually a pretty nice place, set deep within a cutting with a Long Island platform. A bit like Manston Fall, I guess. Yeah, and a pretty substantial village on either side, so my driver said. Tell you what, though, it'll just be nice to be able to escape the confines of the Dark Railway in general. You know, once the track laying reaches Barbourne. Why? Do you want to get away from the line or something, Raymond? Huh? No. I mean, just a change of scenery, you know? Not getting away from the line. You guys know how grateful I am to live here. Imagine if I still worked on the main line and had been bought by British Railways all those years ago. I might not ever have met you guys. Heck, I might not even have been built. Raymond lapsed into his thoughts, remembering how awkward things had been with the whole time travel situation that he had encountered all those years ago. Brian brought him back. So anyway, what else lies beyond Belgrave then, Ray? I've never had the pleasure of exploring that old section of line. Well, as far as I can remember, there are 2 more stations before reaching the docks and the main line connection. And there's a very steep hill in a rocky cutting. And, oh, the most beautiful place I've ever seen. The River Hitchin. The railway runs right over it on embankments. And seriously, guys, you're going to love it. Raymond continued to reminisce, and Dave frowned. Well, I'm going to have to take a pass on all of that. How come? Tunnel. You're not seriously suggesting that you'll stay on this side forever and never go and visit anywhere else just because of the tunnel, are you? I don't know. Maybe. I'm just so frightened of them after, you know, what happened with her. Maybe I should just face my fear and try and go through it. That's the spirit. Speaking of spirits, anyone fancy a drink? I've got booze. Brian, yeah, it's 8:30 in the morning, and Good morning, Ryan. Hello, sir. You don't look so good. I'm fine, sir. It's just, I'm kind of fed up working the RPS down here now. I'd like to come back to Mirkin, sir, especially now that Mr. B is working again. Yes, that should be fine, Ryan. To be honest, I completely forgot that I'd loaned you out to Mr. Chairman in the society. But yes, we can certainly arrange for you to come back up to Mirkin. However, I would like to ask you to do me a favour first. Ryan looked at the food. Sir? Okay, so I asked both Alan and Mr. B, and they both claim they're far too busy to help me on this one. Sounds a bit sus. Basically, we need to carry out a final inspection of Tolhapper Tunnel, and I need an engine to accompany us with an inspection vehicle so that we can check the ventilation shafts up in the roof. Please, we know it's not exactly a glamorous task, but sure thing, I'll do it, mate. Give me a change from hanging around here in the yard. Oh, really? Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Ryan. That's actually really helpful. The sooner we can get this inspection done, the sooner we can move on to getting Belgrave Station finished. I'll go collect the inspection truck then. Where is it? Oh, it's up at Mr. Smash's works. He just had to clean it a little. It hasn't been used for a long time, so... Okay, sir, I'll be back soon. Ryan soon returned with the inspection vehicle and had brought Zeke, plus a couple of members of the Preservation Society, up to the tunnel itself. It looks kind of spooky in here. It'll be fine, Ryan. There's no danger. It's just a tunnel, you know. Yes, but the last tunnel I went through kind of collapsed. Zeke frowned. I can assure you, this one won't, okay? If you say so, sir. Ryan slowly made his way into the darkness and couldn't help feeling insecure as the men set about their work. He could fully understand why Mr. B and Alan had preferred not to do this duty. It was creepy, dark, and way too quiet, save for the sound of his engine idling and the society members clambering around, using various tools to check the various vents and structures within the tunnel's depths. After what felt like an eternity, Ryan finally saw daylight ahead. Once Zeke had informed them that their work was done, Ryan felt a wave of relief as he rolled toward the light and back out into the open.
I think we can safely say the tunnel's ready for use.
Indeed, I would say so. Everything appears to be in order. He then turned to Ryan. Now, Ryan, I know you felt rather uncomfortable whilst in there. Only very slightly, sir. So, for tolerating this job, how about I give you a treat? A treat? Yes. I wasn't going to go any further than here today, but how would you like to go and see Belgrade Station itself? But I thought it wasn't ready yet. It isn't, but there is track work up to the platform. We needed to lay it so that we can take away any spoil by rail, seeing as the whole area is in a cutting and we can't really get lorries down there. It just made sense to lay the rails now, seeing as we intend to have it ready sooner rather than later anyway. So, how about it? You'll be the first engine to see the station for several years. I just thought it'd be a nice little reward for bringing us up here. I mean, yeah, sure, that'd be interesting, sir. Go for it. So, the men piled back into the wagon, and Ryan pushed the truck even further up the line over freshly relayed rails and ballast. He was awed by this short section of the line, snuggled deep in a cutting, with a plethora of wildlife growing on the embankment on either side. After passing under two bridges, he arrived into the rather dilapidated platform at Belgrade Station. He looked quite sad. There's going to be a lot of work to do here before it reopens, it would seem.
Not so much, Ryan. It looks bad now, sure, but after a bit of TLC, it'll look as good as new.
To be fair, there was a lot of work to do back at Gannon Junction when that closed temporarily, and the DRPS did a stand-up job of restoring it to its former glory. I assume that you'll be reinstalling the track through the other platform at some point, eh?
That is the plan.
And what about the reinstation of double track down to Colhapper? Zeke looked glum. We can't. Not really. The other tunnel fourth was unusable, so we decided to restore this entire extension as single track with passing loops in places. That's not going to be good for capacity. But even then, I suppose the extension won't be a busy intersection between Colhapper and Meercoon. Probably not. Anyway, whilst we're here, we might as well do some clearing up. Ryan shut down his engine for a while as he watched Zeke and the society members clear weeds and undergrowth from the area near the station. Several hours later, the men were hungry and thirsty and decided to call it a day and head back to Colhapper. Ryan restarted himself, then left the station, both saddened by his dilapidated state, but thrilled that, of all the engines on the railway, he had been the first to see the location in its current state. Once Ryan had returned to Colhapper, Zeke congratulated him on his work that day and told him that he is free to return to Meercoon that evening. Thankful of this, he made his way up the line to his home station, where he was welcomed back by the other engines. Alan was especially happy to see him. Hey, Ryan! Welcome home! Thanks, mate. How have you enjoyed your exile to Colhapper? It was fine, I guess, but it's not the same as working up here. Not many engines seem to want to stay at Colhapper much these days. It's because the place is haunted, clearly. Colhapper isn't bloody haunted, Alan. It bloody well is. Just like the rest of this railway. Isn't that right, Andy?
Oh, shut up, Alan.
Anyway, I heard the rumour that you've been roped in to do that tunnelling. Inspection. Oh yeah, how did that go? Yeah, it was fine. A bit spooky, but it looks like the tunnel's ready for use again now. Rather you than me, my guy. Not fond of tunnels ever since that one at the gasworks collapsed. But it's okay. I got a treat for it.
Like what? High octane diesel fuel?
No, I've got to go right up to Belgrave Station and have a look around. Hang on. You got to go to the new station? If I'd have known that, I'd have done the job no problem. You just said that you're not fond of tunnels? Yeah, but if it meant being the first engine over that extension, I'd have done it for the fame. Everyone rolled their eyes as Alan, unfortunately, began ranting about Ryan getting to go up to Belgrave ahead of everybody else. Alan's bad mood soon dissipated, and more work continued on the clean-up operation at Belgrave. More engines were required to use the extension to help with removing trains of spoil and undergrowth, as well as bringing construction items up to the site to help with the restoration. Alan soon got his chance to visit the station, and after a very brief time spent there, was bored of it, and immediately went back to hounding everybody else on why they were not working hard enough. Sadly, something unfortunate soon happened. On arrival at the station one morning, the volunteers had found that their hard work had been undermined by vandals. Several items had been stolen, fencing had been damaged, and rubbish had been strewn all over the place. This hampered morale among the volunteers severely as they tidied up the mess as best as they could. Initially, they thought this could have been an isolated incident, but it happened again a week or so later, causing some unrest regarding the safety of Belgrave Station. Warrior, who had been to Belgrave that morning to assist with the latest clean-up effort, felt quite strongly about this and got quite irate about the situation.
This is so unjust and unfair to the efforts of the society. Why destroy something that is so clearly being lovingly restored for the benefit of so many?
I quite agree. Some humans, unfortunately, are so selfish and keen to wreak havoc for no good reason. Can't the society just patrol the station at night or hire some security?
Well, they could, but Mr. Chairman won't assign the budget for them to do so. And they're all very tired with all the other work they've been doing as of recent.
Well, why don't we do it then?
What? Hire security guards?
Why don't we patrol the station at night and keep an eye on things? See if we can't catch the criminals involved.
For steam engines, that could be tricky. We can't really steam up there and expect our crews to keep us in working order all night before their jobs start the next day. I suppose we could be dragged up there on our nights off to do it. I'll happily volunteer. In fact, I think we should speak to the chairman and to Zeke about it.
That's a great idea. I'm glad I thought of it.
So it was arranged. Several other engines volunteered to help as well, principally Mr. B, who offered to shut the engines up to the station at night so that their crews would not have to be present with them, and then collect the engine bright and early in the morning until this crisis was over. Nothing seemed to happen for several weeks, but one night, Warrior was rewarded for his patience and determination. As he watched over the area, he witnessed several people coming down the embankment nearby, having broken through a loose piece of fence further up the line. He could hear them laughing and joking, theorizing that these people must be the vandals. As they approached, Warrior called out,
"Who's there?"
The group of people froze. Warrior's voice had been loud and booming, echoing around the cutting. Clearly, they couldn't tell where the voice had come from, and couldn't see that Warrior was hiding in the shadows under the bridge. As they cautiously began to walk forward towards the platform, Warrior's loud voice boomed out again.
"Go here now! You leave the station alone! Go! Don't come back!"
The vandals suddenly turned around and pelted back up the trackbed, up the embankment, and into the darkness. Warrior chuckled to himself quietly. knowing that he had successfully scared off the would-be vandals. Warrior soon informed the DRPS of what had happened that night, and they were incredibly grateful for his help. After a bit of exploring, they discovered the damaged fence, which was quickly repaired. After inspecting all of the other fences in the area, it was soon determined that the area was now secure, meaning that the regular stakeouts at the station could now cease, and lighter security work could be undertaken by the volunteers on occasion. However, for a while afterwards, Warrior decided to take it upon himself to return to Belgrave on most evenings, hoping that his presence would prevent any further attacks on the station. Though it had become apparent to everybody else that this was unnecessary, Warrior wanted to be extra secure, just in case the vandals ever did decide to try and come back.
I think I'll learn. Oh, that's paste. Oh, the Minnie Mouse. Whatever's at the top of their shirt.
With Belgrave now secure and fully repaired, the time came for serious consideration to be made regarding the new station's grand opening. Due to the time restraints and further work needed on the former dam formation through the other platform, the station would retain just its one track for the time being, meaning that there would not be a run-round loop at Belgrave for its reopening. The engines, of course, soon learned that the opening was imminent, and immediately began to speculate wildly on which of them would be asked to take the first train. Considering that I helped with the tunnel inspection, I think that I should be put in charge of the train. Alan got to do it when Kohlhapper reopened. Yeah, but the line between there and the junction is flat. There's a proper incline through that tunnel, isn't there?
Well, with me being an auto tank, and with the fact that there's no run-round loop down there, clearly I should be the one to take it.
The other engines scoffed at Goose, then carried on as normal. As much as I would like to haul an inaugural train to the new station, I doubt that it will be me. Oh, don't say that, Eustace. I'm sure that Zeke would love for you to be in charge. I mean, myself and Eustace could top and tail. We're currently the largest and grandest engines on the line. But do we really need massive express locos to run a service for what is essentially a small-scale through station? Surely myself and Brian would be more suitable. I certainly would,
Oh, I think I
but
like
you're the
getting
laziest
this.
engine going, so I don't
I
think
know.
you'll be suitable at all. I tend to agree. Therefore, myself and Brian then.
Well, it certainly won't be.
That's
I
happening
noticed
on the
257 staring at him menacingly and immediately changed tack, having just been about to mention Della Trip.
It won't be me.
What makes you say that?
I just don't think I'll be considered for the job. There's so many other engines deserving of it. Dave, for example. Hold a minute. Where is Dave?
He's on a train to take this evening, so he's probably at the other end of the line. Poor thing. He's so tired. Yeah, probably. I'd say that Dave should take the train. The other engines agreed unanimously as the conversation slowly steered off in another direction. It turned out that Zeke had already made his mind up as to who he wanted to put in charge of the reopening train, and on the day before, he called them to one side to speak to them. So, Dave, Clyde, you probably guessed why you're here. Sorry, Zeke, I didn't mean to be naughty and rack up your porn subscription bills. I promise I won't do it again. What? Nothing, don't worry. Joke flew over your head.
We're assuming you want us to be in charge of the Belgrave reopening train, sir.
You assume correctly. I did have some reservations about this decision, but I'd like my newest locomotive and my most popular engine to work this service. Wait, Clyde is also your most popular engine?
He means you dog.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, right, yeah, right.
Let's go, James.
So, I want you on the front of the train, Dave, but sir, the tunnel. What about it? I'm nervous about going into it because of what happened at the gasworks. You'll be fine, Dave. That happened a long time ago. And besides, I'll be with you all the way up to Belgrave, so nothing bad will happen, I promise. Zeke smiled up at his engine. He sighed. All right, sir, I'll do it, but only because you asked me so nicely. That's a good engine. Though looking at your paintwork, you're probably going to need a repaint soon. Perhaps after the reopening, and once things have calmed down again in the works. Anyway, thank you both for agreeing to do this. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. I'll see you in the morning, bright and early. Dave didn't look too happy at this news as Zeke walked away to make preparations. What does he mean, I need a repaint?
I mean, you're starting to look a wee bit grubby in places.
But I like my green paint. He's going to do what Mr. Dark did to me all those years ago and have me painted LMS black again. Or worse, BR black. I hate those liveries. There's got to be something I can do to convince him to leave me in DR green.
Perhaps just doing a good job tomorrow will convince him.
I hope so. I'm legitimately nervous about this whole tunnel business. I mean, I'll try, but it's still nerve-wracking.
Look, I'll be right with you, mate, at the other end of the train. And as Zeke just said, he'll be with you too. Don't fret. Everything will be fine. The tunnel has had multiple inspections and nothing bad will happen. Okay?
I know. It's all in my smoke box.
Aye, it probably is. Well, come on then. We want to be spick and span before tomorrow. I'm going for a shower. You coming with?
I'll wait till after you've had yours. I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea.
Oh, aye, you funny fucker.
Yeah, I did have to change the 10 years.
Clyde departed, leaving Dave to ponder. How could he possibly persuade Zeke to leave his paint scheme alone? He focused on this more than the other problem, hoping that worrying about something else would put his mind at ease. Both Clyde and Dave were woken early the next morning so that they could be prepared. Ryan happily shunted the coaches into the station as the two engines took up their positions. The plan was for them to double head from Mirkin to Kolhappa, where Clyde would run round to the back, ready to top and tail up to Belgrave. A fair few of the others had made their way down to Kolhappa to witness this historic reinstatement of the line beyond, as the pair found out when they rolled in later that morning. Zeke, Mr. Dark, and Mr. Chairman were all present, welcoming people to the train and giving off an aura of professionalism as people milled around. As Clyde ran around to the back of the train, Dave began to feel nervous, but pulled himself together when he saw Hannah smiling at him from the yards. Soon, it was time for the big departure. Dave and Clyde snorted onwards and out of the familiar scenery of Kolhappa Yard, making good progress as they passed by the various housing blocks of the city. Eventually, They came upon the disused halt at the other end of the city next to the level crossing, where Dave looked off into the distance, seeing the tunnel loom ahead. Come on, Dave, don't think about it. It's not a long tunnel. You can do this.
Then
The
it's just
seat's
last
safe.
stop, and then I'll go
Come on,
sleep.
boyo. It's only for a
Then
couple
I'll
of
do
minutes.
sleep.
But as Dave came closer and closer to the tunnel mouth, an overwhelming sense of dread washed over him. Thinking
When we
of
get to
the
another
inky
station.
blackness that lay ahead. What if he
Good
got
food.
inside and never came out again? What if the whole thing collapsed on them, not only taking his life, but Zeke, Mr. Dark, Mr. Chairman, Clyde, and everybody else on the train? These irrational fears overwhelmed the Black Five, and suddenly and uncontrollably, Dave's brakes slammed on, heavier than naturally possible, as he closed his eyes and screeched in agony. When he opened his eyes and
Probably
looked around,
stop.
he saw that he was stood mere inches away from the tunnel entrance. Steam bellowed into the air and pain radiated from his wheels. There were some panicked screams and the sound of voices nearby. Looking down, he saw Zeke and his driver stood in front of him. Dave, what happened? Are you all right? Not really. Ow, my wheels, they hurt. I'm not surprised. You've done some pretty major damage to your tyres. Your fireman's just checking something, but he doesn't think he's going to be able to unjam your brake locks. They're locked solid. Sir, I'm so sorry about this. I honestly didn't mean for this to happen. I couldn't control it. The tunnel was coming up and I just... Dave, don't worry about it. I should have respected your wishes not to take this train, and I shouldn't have forced you to do so, knowing how nervous you were about doing it. I've ruined everything, though. You have not. This is my own fault. Look, I don't think we'll be able to do anything for the time being. I'll have to see if Clyde can slowly pull us back to the station and bring you off the train. See if we can get your brakes unlocked. Zeke hurried back down to the other end of the train, while Dave, still in a lot of pain due to his sticking brake locks, closed his eyes again, feeling both foolish and silly at what had happened. With great care, Clyde slowly pulled the train back towards Colhapper once the onboard guests had been told what had happened. Everybody seemed shocked to see the train back so soon, until they saw that Dave was in complete agony. Hannah rushed towards him. Dave, what happened? Fear got the better of me, love. Ah, my brakes are hard on. They're hurting me. Pass us a mallet. You're going to hit me with a hammer? I know I've upset you, sir, but it's to try and smack open your brake locks, Dave. Now hold still. Despite being the railway's manager, nobody questioned Zeke as he retrieved a large hammer from nearby and began furiously pounding at Dave's brake rigging. After several minutes, and with help from the crew, they managed to unlock the brakes, releasing pressure from Dave's injured wheels. Dave sighed with a slight feeling of relief, but Zeke gasped once the blocks fell away. Is it that bad? Dave, your tyres, your brakes have worn a huge groove in them. There's no way we're going to be able to operate you now. You mean... Yeah, I'm going to have to get you into Mr. Smash's works. We're going to have to replace all 6 of your main driver wheel tyres, I'm afraid.
I'm almost out.
Dave sighed. Zeke, honestly, I'm so sorry. Don't apologise, Dave. These things happen, and they're sent here to try us. Look, I'll get you off the train, get someone else onto it so we can complete the opening ceremony, and then I'll see if somebody can take you back to the works, all right? Dave whimpered, feeling very sorry for himself and for Zeke. He hadn't meant to ruin this big day, and he now felt terrible for causing so much hassle. In the end, Eustace was drafted in to haul the train to Belgrade, with Clyde feeling rather uncomfortable about this arrangement. He said nothing, however, as the train set off from Colhapper for the second time that morning. Hannah tried to soothe Dave's feelings, but Dave felt incredibly guilty and foolish. Hannah scoffed. Look, you can't help what happened, Dave. Fear is a powerful emotion. You should know that better than anybody. Considering what happened to you last year with that demon feeding off your negative energy. I know.
Oh, 8
but
hours
I've
tomorrow,
really
no
fucked
mind.
up today's big event, haven't I? Yes, but we all understand, okay? I'm going to take you up to Mr. Smash. I want to know how long it will take for him to fabricate some new tyres, or if he can source any spares from anywhere.
4, 6.
Hannah and Dave arrived at a suspiciously quiet junction sometime later. Buzz appeared almost out of nowhere, approaching them cautiously.
Hello, Hannah. What brings you?
2,
Hannah shuddered at these words,
5, and
and
6,
Buzz
2.
noticed.
Are you okay, Hannah?
Sorry, Buzz. Those were the last words Colin ever spoke to me before the explosion, right in this very spot, actually.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I see you have Dave with you.
Okay.
Are you
Yeah,
both
it's
okay?
only an 8 hours
I
train now.
thought Dave was supposed to be in charge of that big
Oh,
special train to the new station.
He was, but he's had a slight incident.
11, 12.
Hmm. Well, I'll take you over to Mr. Smash to
That's
see
12.
what he has to say.
Plus 10.
But Mr. Smash says he doesn't want any other visitors on site today, so I'm afraid
Let
you'll
me
have
just
to
watch
leave,
Team
Hannah.
Sunday.
We
Yay!
need to have words with
Alright, I'm
Mr.
doing it.
Smash.
Okay, I'll ask him to come over, but he won't be
I'm just
happy
playing
about
around
it.
the road. On the route now.
Hannah scowled as she waited impatiently near the museum and Buzz told Dave to force the traverser outside the workshops. Mr. Smash was stood near one of the many entrance doors, watching as they approached. Hey, Buzz! What's Dave doing here?
He needs you to have a look at him. He's had a pretty bad accident with his wheels and brake blocks.
All right then. Put him on the traverser then. Buzz obliged. Dave felt strange as the traverser began to move, shunting him sideways towards Mr. Smash. Then right past him. Hold on! No! No! Stop the traverser! Stop it! He's going too far! Dave looked back at the engineer. So what? Just bring me back across when... Dave had stopped in front of two hidden sidings alongside the works, and before him stood something. Something he had never seen before. Ew, what's this? Is this... Oh my god! It's the thing! It's the secret project! It's the thing Alan was talking about! Mr. Smash! Is this... Pipe down, you fucking loudmouth idiot! But Dave was rambling as the traverser began moving again. Sir, that's not a normal steam engine, is it? It's got too many wheels. It's absolutely stonking massive. It's a new build steam engine, isn't it? But why? And what is it? You didn't see anything, Dave. Oh man, wait till I tell everyone about this. Alan will be pleased, and Eustace, and Clyde, and you'll be telling nobody nothing, Dave. This is a secret. Nobody knows about DR1202 yet. DR1202? I've heard of that before. Hang on a moment.
Or the game tomorrow.
Dave, please do it. Nobody's supposed to know about it. Myself and Zeke have been working on this in secret for a couple of years now, and I'd very much appreciate it if you didn't tell everybody from here to the Surrey border about it, thanks. Okay, sir. I won't say anything about DR1202. Shh. If, and only if, you convince Zeke to let me stay in DR Green. What do you mean? Zeke wants me repainted, but I think he's going to paint me either Element Black or BR Black, and I don't want to be repainted out of my nice green paint. I won't say anything about your secret loco to anyone, if you stop him changing my livery. Mr. Smash frowned, clearly confused. As far as he had known, Zeke wanted Dave to have a touch-up of his current livery. He hadn't suggested anything to him about repainting him out of his green paint. But seeing the look on Dave's face, Mr. Smash decided to play along. All right, Dave. I won't allow Zeke to have you repainted into a different colour if you keep your mouth shut. Okay? Yeah, sure, cool beans, Mr. Smash. Now, about my wheels. Come on then. Let's get you inside so we can have a look at what you've done to yourself. And for God's sake, be quiet. Several of my other charges are asleep. They've been having a lot of work done to them this week. Oh, and Hannah wants a word. I'll get to Hannah once I'm good and ready. Now come on then, Buzz. Let's get him inside before he starts blabbing again.
You can see right in.
Check out those two.
Just because someone is allowing you to look in on their
Oh, come on, Reggie. For the last time, Jeffrey, no, I am not taking your train. Please, I have something very important to do. I hardly think catfishing James is more important than doing your job. All right, maybe not more important, but it's a lot more fun. It's also disgraceful, disgusting, and
Come on, we have a
despicable.
good
I'll have
late
no
tonight
part of
anyway.
it,
We
and there is
watching
nothing you can say that'll
the
make me
Shade of
change
Dark
my
Early.
mind. If you take my train, I'll send you sourcing pictures of the Fat Controller's mother. Deal? That's why I love Sims. Welcome back, Sir Topham. How was the Shadow Realm? Surprisingly pleasant. Hey, Sir Topham. Yes, Dennis? I got a question. Why does my daddy call you the wife shagger? Because I shag your mum. Oh, bugger me. That's exactly what she said. Jesus Christ. And that's what she said afterwards. I suppose now is as good a time as any to tell you I'm your daddy. What? You heard me. I'm your daddy. And since it's Father's Day, what did you get me? I got you this coupon. Hey! Surprise, Jay! What? What? Bruce? That was you? And you knew it was me? Yes, quite. I don't believe it. I've been reverse catfished. You mongrel. Better a mongrel than a deviant. Jeez Louise. Look at some of these messages.
Actually,
You've
I
got
did
problems, mate.
say
Take this one, for
Let's
instance.
Shade of Dark
Bruce,
Early for
if you read
tomorrow.
any of those out,
Night,
this video will get
stream,
demonetized.
no,
Yeah.
no,
But
don't
just
wanna
answer me this. Why the hell did you put the poop emoji between the eggplant and the peach?
Tonight it is.
All right, Henry. Truth or dare? Truth. Okay. Does my bum look big in this? Yeah, but at least it takes the focus off your face.
I'm out of content. So yeah, sorry that tonight's stream is short. I wanted to go watch baseball. So yeah. Be back tomorrow with a special 8 to 10 hour live stream. Then Sunday 6 to 8 live stream. An hour long live stream. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully Kevin joins. Bye.